Alright, so welcome YouTube to the Steelers post-game talk show. Season 1, Episode 9, the Steelers versus the Bengals. I feel like I pronounced it wrong, so I'm just going to call them Cincinnati. The Steelers received the first half. They didn't have nothing interesting on their first drive. When the Steelers punted to give it to Cincinnati, they fumbled on the punt return and the Steelers recovered. On the Steelers' second drive, they started on Cincinnati's 32-yard line and they made a 41-yard field goal, which was good. Then Cincinnati's second drive, they fumbled on the touchback. It went out of bounds and they started on their own 25-yard line. There was a flag on Cincinnati for false start, which was a 5-yard penalty. Then they punted. Then there was a delay of game on Cincinnati for 5 yards again. The Steelers' third drive, they started on their own 34-yard line. There was one of the Steelers players got a flag for holding. Then the Steelers punted. Cincinnati's third drive, they started on their own 12-yard line. There was a flag for illegal formation on Cincinnati. Then they punted at the end. The Steelers started on Cincinnati's 46-yard line. Claypool had a 14-yard run, following up with Connor with a 16-yard run. Then there was a 30-yard field goal that was made. Cincinnati's fourth drive, they started on their own 25. Number 25 on Cincinnati had a loss of 4 yards catch. Then they punted. Then the Steelers had a flag for holding, which was put on the next drive. The Steelers started on their own 26-yard line. Johnson had a 36-yard catch. Then Johnson had a touchdown catch. The 2-point conversion failed. That brought the Steelers lead up to 12-0. Cincinnati's fourth drive, they started on their own 19-yard line. There's a flag for neutral zone infraction or infragment on the Steelers. Number 83 on Cincinnati had a 20-yard catch and run. Then they fumbled on a play. Then the Steelers recovered on the Steelers' fifth drive. There was nothing interesting. Then the Cincinnati's fifth drive, they started on their own 10-yard line. Number 34 had a 14-yard run. Higgins had a 54-yard catch and run. Higgins had scored a touchdown, and the extra point was good. The Steelers' sixth drive, they started on their own 22-yard line. Juju Smith-Schuster had a 24-yard catch. There's a flag for roughing the passer on Cincinnati on 94 on Cincinnati. Then the number 22 on Cincinnati had a passing interference flag. Then Juju had an 8-yard touchdown with a late hit on Ben Roethlisberger. The extra point was good. The Cincinnati's sixth drive, the only really interesting stuff that happened was a flag hold. There was number 62 on the on Cincinnati for holding. The Steelers got another sack. The Steelers' seventh drive, they started on their own 16. Johnson had a 18-yard catch. Ebron had a 20-yard catch. Johnson had a 17-yard catch and run. Connor had a negative 5-yard run. Then they made a 45-yard field goal. Cincinnati started on their Cincinnati's seventh drive, they started on their own 23. Watt on the Steelers sacked for a loss of 12 yards. And then 19 on Cincinnati had a 20-yard catch and run. That was halftime, with the score being 22-7, with the Steelers leading. On in the second half, Cincinnati received, and on there's nothing on there was nothing interesting on Cincinnati's and Steelers' eighth drive. So Cincinnati's ninth drive, they started on their own 15-yard line. There's a sideline catch for Cincinnati that was rolled and incomplete. So Cincinnati's head coach challenged it and failed the challenge, causing them to punt because it was a third and down. It was third and down when the catch was made, but it resulted in fourth and down. I forget how much yards they had. There was nothing interesting on the Steelers' ninth drive. The Cincinnati's 10th drive. Nothing on the Steelers' 10th drive. Nothing on the Cincinnati's 11th drive. Nothing on the Steelers' 11th. Nothing on the Bengals. On the Cincinnati's 12th drive. Claypool on the Steelers' 12th drive. Claypool got a 5-yard touchdown, and the extra point was good. On Cincinnati's 13th drive, they started on their own 25-yard line. Bud Dupree on the Steelers got a sack. They faked a punt and they got like 20 yards and a first down. Then Spleen, I don't know how to pronounce his last name properly, got a sack. Then Cincinnati made a 37-yard field goal attempt. Then I don't know. There's like 5 minutes and 5 seconds left. Since the Steelers were leading majorly, they took Big Ben out of the game and replaced him with Mason Rudolph. My body chose to make me take a crap, like a major crap, whenever the Steelers played. So I missed the last 5 minutes, but the score didn't change or anything. I'm assuming there was no major plays by how my house was reacting. I know the Cincinnati was the last ones playing. Time ran out. The Steelers win 36-10, with bringing the Steelers record to 9-0, first time in franchise history. And my brother did not bother to tell me we had notebooks. We had a couple of notebooks in my bedroom, so now I have like a 100-page notebook. So I hope you guys enjoyed I think, my opinion, TJ Watt is kind of like the new James Harrison, because James Harrison was a great player. He was a more recent player. Like, he was there when, I forget exactly when he started, but I know he was there like shortly before Super Bowl 43 happened, because I know he was in Super Bowl 43 because of his 100-yard touchdown return on defense. That was the first time ever in Super Bowl history, and there was no time left on the clock, and the first half was finished. So I think the new crew that's on the Steelers, like the new players, are gonna take the Steelers to the Super Bowl this year, as long as they keep playing like they do, and as long as they can defeat the Kansas City Chiefs. They they're on a good track for this season. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video and see you guys in the next one.